Slicky.
Mitchy. See, you did it right. We did it right. And now I can't be blamed. I can't be punished. I can't be looked down upon.
Yes, but you can be told that you owe me.
I owe you.
You owe me.
Why do I owe you?
Come on. I sent you before. I haven't even sent it to my wife yet.
Oh, yeah.
I sent you a website. When my wife hears this, she's going to be pissed that you got it before her. I sent you a website where you can play.
No, you sent me the website.
The website where you can play every Wordle puzzle since the beginning. They are all archived and there for you to play. You've got about 190 of them to catch up on.
Uh-huh.
Are you not thankful for that?
Yes.
How about
Thank
that?
you very much.
That's
Thank
right.
you very much. I did the first one. I did the very first one, which I already forget what it was. But so I've got to find out now how I want to budget my time. And do I want to do, do I just want to motor through them all?
5 a day.
Or do I save it for like my next airplane flight?
I don't know.
or what do I do?
Oh.
So
what are you going to do?
I'll probably do a few here, a few there.
It sounds, that's actually a good idea. I've got a plane ride coming up, but you'd have to have internet service.
Yeah, but most planes you can just get the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, some of them say not available on this flight, and then you're screwed out of Wordle. Then you've saved Wordle for a 5-hour flight to Florida to see your mom. You get on the flight, and the lady says, "No, we don't have Wi-Fi. Sorry, no Wi-Fi on this flight."
Well, that's when you make up your own Wordles. You just didn't.
All right, I got it. Before we start the show, shooting the shit with Slick and Mitch.
Yeah.
I want to read you something that I saw just a few moments ago before we started to record. I think this will resonate with you. Do we all like the Cooper Kupp story?
Sure, of course.
Yeah. So coming up on episode 177 on Monday, the freebie for everybody, I interview Bo Baldwin. Do you know who Bo Baldwin is?
Name rings a bell.
So Bo Baldwin was the Eastern Washington University coach that recruited successfully Cooper Kupp to Eastern Washington. And then he brought Cooper Kupp and Vernon Davis. What was the name of the
Adams?
Vernon Adams and Cooper Kupp to Husky Stadium when Eastern Washington played the Huskies to like a 61
it was
to
tight.
It was unbelievable.
It was tight.
Right? So yeah, right. So we all love the Cooper Kupp story.
Yes.
Here's part of the Cooper Kupp story that I don't know that you're gonna agree with, that you're gonna endorse.
Okay.
Cooper Kupp says his wife Anna switched him to a stricter diet this past year, Slickhawk. And it's helped him become the best wide receiver in the NFL and lead the Los Angeles Rams back to the Super Bowl. The 28-year-old NFL star told ESPN that he now relies on a clean eating philosophy, eating farm-to-table. I don't know what that means. Farm-to-table meat and vegetables and ocean-to-table fish. He adopted the new food habits because of his wife, who helped him learn the science behind nutrition and how it can impact his performance and recovery. He also told ESPN that he previously ate fast food tacos before workouts, and he favored pizza, breadsticks, and cinnamon sticks from Pizza Hut.
All right.
Okay?
Okay.
No longer. It's all been X'd out of his diet. Now, I want to know if there's anybody that can tell me about Pizza Hut and cinnamon sticks and breadsticks. Do you know anything about this Pizza Hut thing?
I do know about Pizza Hut. I've never been real big on like the sides, the accessories, and everything. But I didn't know that my diet was the only thing that was keeping me from being an all-pro wide receiver. This is revolutionary. Now, ask me if that's going to make me change anything. I don't think to that extent. I don't know about farm to table and ocean to table. I'm assuming that means there's nothing frozen, no preservatives and things like that.
I think you got to be pretty fancy schmancy and probably wealthy to be able to pull such a stunt off, don't you think? Doesn't it sound like
you can't be living
expensive?
off the dollar menu out of necessity? I don't think filet of fish is gonna cut it. And you're talking about ocean ocean to table.
I haven't had a good filet of fish sandwich in a long time.
I'll be honest, I've never had a filet of fish.
Really?
Sandwich.
You've never had a filet of fish sandwich?
I've also never had a McRib, and I know there's a big.
I haven't had a McRib.
There's a cult following with the McRib. I never had a McRib.
Would you eat a fish sandwich?
Yeah, sure.
Or would you just never have you just never had a filet of fish? Or
I've just never had a filet of fish. I've had a fish sandwich. I've had a salmon sandwich. Yeah,
that's kind of
I've had a fried fish sandwich.
That's stunning to me. Really?
I just haven't.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How'd you do on your bets last week? Who'd you again?
Let's keep this train. Let's go. Keep this train moving. The gravy train.
You had them both?
Joe Burrow. Yes. So I had a great little money line parlay. I had them both.
Wow.
I mean, I was a point because the line was 3.5. The hook got me, or it would have been a bloodbath for the Emerald Queen Casino.
Wait a second. Hold on a second. So you lost something. What'd you do?
Yeah, because I had Rams minus 3.5, and they win by 3 because that last interception, I guess, just couldn't have been returned for a touchdown. So
how many bets did you have?
I had 6 bets total.
Tell me.
And so. But I hit the money line parlay. That was the big one.
Which was both teams to win straight up.
Yes.
And no points, no spread. Right. They both have to win, and you win I got it.
Yeah, I did that. I got the Bengals spread. I got the Bengals money line. So yeah, I did pretty well for myself. But now here's the fun though.
The fun.
Here's the fun.
We haven't gotten to the fun yet on shooting the shit.
This is the fun.
The fun.
When I rolled up in there and looked at the board. At the futures, the Bengals were 8-1 to win the Super Bowl. I found Sunday morning at their Emerald Queen Casino before that game, and you bet I took a little action on Joey Burrow, and so I got a nice little ticket 8-1 on the Bengals. So now, what do you do? I'm a big Bengals fan.
So now you're kind of even if you think the Rams might win, your hand is forced. You can't really bet the Rams.
Right.
On a ticket here leading up to the Super Bowl. I'll have you know that I had a very similar money line parlay for Brett and I decided to split one. It was not at the Emerald Queen Casino, it was at the Snoqualmie Casino. We
have different locations. We could do that now.
My son and I, after a game out at Mount Si, decided to go to the buffet. We like the buffet because we get the Mongolian grill.
Ooh, yeah.
At the Snoqualmie Casino, and I said to him, "How about if I make a wager right now? I'm going to put $100 on a parlay of the money line. We got to get both teams to win. You get a half. We get $196.50 if we win it. You get half of that, and you don't have to put up any money. You get half of that. All you got to do is watch the games with your dad.
That's a sweet deal.
If you watch the games with your dad, because normally he won't watch, he'll be on his phone." You get $100. You get $100 if both teams win. He said, "Which both teams are we going to do?" And I said, "Of course, we're going to do the Chiefs and the Rams."
It's when it's the first game right out of the chute and it kills you. I mean, it just kind of lets the wind out of your sails, doesn't it? Just I'm telling you, Joe Burrow.
So I'm trying to figure out what do I want to do for the Super Bowl. What are we going to do for the Super Bowl? So you've already decided you're going to bet the Bengals plus 4.5. You're going to bet them.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
You've already got the Bengals.
Yeah, so I'm just going all in on the Bengals.
See, I don't think the Bengals are going to win the Super Bowl as much as I'd like now for you to win that bet. I don't. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I got a funny. The one thing
I liked them the whole way to get to the Super Bowl, but I never thought, what happens when they get there?
Well, we did Around the NFL yesterday with Randy Mueller, who's terrific. If you haven't heard Around the NFL for the patrons, it's great. We did Around the NFL yesterday, and he said to me, "Mitch, 2 weeks ago, Joey Burrow, for as great as he is, got sacked 9 times by the Tennessee Titans."
Yes, he did.
And he's looking squarely at Aaron Donald, Von Miller, and Leonard Floyd in the Super Bowl. And he's worried, according to Randy. Randy's worried that the Bengals will not be able to protect Joe Burrow on Super Bowl Sunday.
It's a great point, and somebody made that point to me when I said I think I like the Bengals next Sunday. But then I said this: do you expect the Rams to get more than 9 sacks of Joe Burrow? Because Joe Burrow was sacked 9 times in that game, still won the game. So if he could withstand those 9 sacks and that constant pressure and still win the football game, then I think he's got more than a puncher's chance in this.
You could hedge though, right?
I could.
So how much money do you have on him at 8-1?
I win 400.
So you got 50
I got 50 bucks on him.
$50. So if the Bengals win the game, no points, you win 400.
Yep.
So why not put 200 on the Rams to win the game?
I could. I've thought about it.
It would probably be what? 200 to probably win 180 or 170, something like that.
There. Mm-hmm.
So therefore, on either side wins, you're a winner. But then, I don't know. Do you want to go for the gusto or do you want to?
It's not as. I don't know. It just doesn't seem as fun, does it? Does that seem as fun? I don't know.
You'd be like the guy. Did we talk about the guy with the 20-team parlay? But after 13, he sold the ticket, and it went 20 for 20. How about this guy? How about the guy this last week who did a parlay on the final scores, project the final scores, and he had both final scores right? How about that?
I saw that. I was thinking about when that happened. Of course, I thought about the contest that we would run every week, where you try to predict the score of the Seahawks game.
Yes.
Every week we did this. We did it for several years.
The car dealership in Tacoma, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so, but it was never selected correctly by a caller, so we never gave away the car.
But you did. Did you not hit?
I did it once.
Good for you.
Once, and we ran this contest for years and years. That's how hard it is to nail a score of a football game. You think it's the easiest thing in the world, and this guy did it twice. Twice
on the same ticket.
Yes,
on the same ticket.
So that's incredible.
And he bet $20. He had to project to win $580,000 on 20. He had to get exactly the final score with the right team winning and the right team losing for both AFC and NFC, and he did it. He turned $20 into and by the way, Steve Dion's got his name now, and we're trying to get him on Mitch Unfiltered.
Nice.
It's going to be trouble. Apparently, he's not talking. He's not doing much media, but he won $580,000.
That's great.
On a $20 bet.
Just imagine him, because when McLaughlin lined up for the field goal, it was a chip shot. But imagine him as Harrison Butker is lining up for the field goal and everything to try to send it into overtime, because you got to have overtime. It just the whole week.
After you talk about Butker lining up for a 43 or 44-yard field goal when it should have been 27 yards. The poor guy got just jobbed by his quarterback. His quarterback was running. What was he doing?
What was Mahomes doing?
I don't know. And he almost fumbled it away. And he fumbled the ball on top of it all.
And so a guy over here with a couple of tickets that he'd like the Bengals to win that game.
Yeah.
And I'm freaking out. So I was watching that on my lunch break. I was in the bar at Azteca.
Yeah.
When that was happening, watching that. And there were a lot of people rooting for the Chiefs. And the ball comes, I'm like, yeah! But they don't fall on it. And so I'm like, God, here comes Mahomes. I don't know what Mahomes just got petrified in that fourth quarter. I don't know what happened.
He looked like
heebie-jeebies.
Do you remember the Mike Tyson interview? What was her name? Oh God, that he was married to, the actress. What was the actress that from Head of the Class? We just talked about her. Do you remember there was a famous Barbara Walters interview with him and his wife, a famous actress, where she allegedly drugged him, and he was kind of like during the interview.
You've talked about that. I remember you've talked about this.
He's kind of sleepy during the interview. He's kind of and the idea was that maybe she drugged him and whatever.
Right.
I think Pat Mahomes was drugged in the second. He didn't look like the normal Pat Mahomes.
No, he looked like Russell Wilson.
Okay. You had to do that.
Holding on to the ball.
Wait a second. Are we talking about Pro Bowler Russell Wilson? Who thank goodness it's the cherry on top of a fantastic season that Russell Wilson would be playing in the Pro Bowl this week. And by the way, if you want a little action, pick 'em, NFC versus AFC. Pick 'em, toss up.
Right.
Over under 61.5 if you want a little
in the game where nobody tackles.
That's right. Yes.
So yeah, I of course Russell Wilson's at the Pro Bowl, and Russell Wilson is the only one at the Pro Bowl who cares about the Pro Bowl from the player standpoint, about the actual game. I mean, the experience and the being there in Vegas now. They used to be in Orlando and Hawaii before that.
Yep.
But of course you want to go there with your family. It's an extra vacation, but for Russell Wilson, because of who he is, I mean, he actually cares about the outcome of the game in the Pro Bowl. And so of course he's there.
Let me tell you who else cares. Let me tell you who else cares. Not about the outcome of the game, but this is and nobody needs me to describe what Mitch Levy's like after all these years. Anybody listen to this, this is not going to surprise anybody.
Okay.
I'm a bit annoyed that he's in the Pro Bowl. I'm a bit annoyed that any Seahawk is in. I don't want Seahawks in the Pro. I don't want to turn on the TV and see them smiling and taking pictures and with hats on, another team. I don't want to see it. You want to know why? Because they put me through effing hell this year. I don't want this. I don't want
the season's over.
Yeah, I'm not. But
let them have fun.
I'm not over it. I am not over it.
None of us is over it. But I mean,
this is akin to the old Sean Alexander routine that after an excruciating loss, you'd see him as the TV broadcast was about to fade to black. You'd see him in the middle of the field smiling and joking around with the other team. And I'd be like, no, I don't want you to be smiling. I'm mad right now.
And then he points to his bank account and says, if you had that, you'd be smiling too.
I don't want Russell Wilson or Seahawks in the Pro Bowl. I don't want them in the don't want them having a good time in Las Vegas.
At least
misery loves company. This is the way I feel about this.
At least with Russell Wilson, he is miserable about. Like, if there's anybody who's miserable about a bad season wants to get better, it's
Is he? No, he's over it like this. It goes back.
No, it eats at him. It eats at him.
It doesn't eat at him. It does not eat at him.
Sure it does.
In fact, I'm gonna actually confess to something here that I probably should not confess to, because we know what happened after that Falcons playoff game.
Right.
The Falcons playoff game, he kind of said right after that game, heartbreak. Remember how heartbreaking the way they lost that game? Late Tony Gonzalez catch.
Just two plays like that. Kind of like the Mahomes. Just boom, field goal. Thanks for coming.
And right after the game, he was kind of smiling, Russell Wilson, even though we were all tortured. And he was like, I'm telling you, everybody, this is the start of something. Big things are coming. And he was absolutely right.
What the hell did he know?
He was right. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to confess, I hated that. I hated that. I didn't hate the part that where good things actually came, but I didn't want to hear that at that point.
The optimism.
I wanted to be freaking miserable.
And we were.
Anyway. Dear. Well, he's in the Pro Bowl. Oh, by the way, you saw, maybe you didn't because you were working all day, the photo that's making the rounds and everybody's talking about from today.
Oh, no.
Him and Alvin Kamara and Cam Jordan and arms around Saints, and they're hanging. Everybody's like, here we go. The Saints need a quarterback and a coach.
Yeah, like I said, they got to get a coach first.
I think he wants to do both. I think he wants to sign it.
I mean, that was the whole thing with New Orleans was, okay, well, Russell Wilson, he would love the opportunity to work with Sean Payton, and it makes sense. And I'd like to see Russell Wilson, by the way, with Sean Payton, and that would be pretty cool. And so when Sean Payton steps down like that, you just start to rack your brain. Okay, well, Carroll's coming back for another year, 1 year. Payton wants a year or so away. Maybe things line up a year from now where Carroll steps away, Payton comes in. Now you start to think that would be Russell Wilson's last year of his deal. They'd probably extend him, and let's go. My brain, this is how my brain works. And so who knows? Who knows?
All right.
The Pro Bowl. So the Pro Bowl is one of two events this weekend or this week that's happening and starting that people, it's interesting to me because people love to act like they're above it. The Pro Bowl. I don't like the Pro Bowl. I don't watch the Pro Bowl. They don't really play. The other one is the Olympics. People love to tell you, I don't watch the Olympics. I'm not looking forward to the Olympics.
You think they're watching both?
They're watching. They're watching both. Absolutely. And I love both. I love the Pro Bowl. I love the Olympics.
Kind of sounds like Mitch in the morning. People used to say, I don't listen. I won't listen to him. I'm not listening to those guys. They just sing after Mariner wins. Well, we should start shooting the shit one of these moments here. But before we start the show, did you have anything? Do you want to add anything to? Are you paying close attention to the Brian Flores thing? Do you?
Oh yeah.
Do you have any thoughts about that? Tom Brady. I don't know if you heard this. Tom Brady retired.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
did he really?
He's done.
I just crawled out of under my rock before we recorded this. So no, that's
what do you got for me on those two subjects? Anything?
Well, Brady, first of all, and this is somebody who, as an NFL fan and a Seahawks fan, I've been through kind of the whole thing with Brady and, being a Brady hater for a while, especially after that Super Bowl, and because that was on the heels of the Deflate Gate and everything.
Yes.
But I kind of really came full circle on Tom Brady these last couple of years. I think he's made a lot of effort to try and be more likable, more out there a little bit, kind of like a lot of the way that Tiger Woods has done, kind of with the second, third go around in his career and everything. I think Brady kind of did a lot of the same, and I kind of embraced it. I liked it. He was able to poke fun at himself a little bit at times and just kind of try and be one of the guys and realize the reason why a lot of people don't like him. So, and I like that he's made that effort. So, and when it just comes to, look, I'm going to miss Tom Brady. I'm going to miss, and it's great, that his last game ends with this furious comeback, and it comes up short, more because of the defense at the end than anything, but just another epic Tom Brady comeback that we got to see one last time. And he could have kept going too. It's wild. He could have kept playing into his late 40s, which is unheard of and so crazy. So I'm gonna miss Tom Brady. I'm gonna miss just everything kind of surrounding him. And then it comes to the Brian Flores news and that lawsuit.
Before you get to the Brian Flores thing, let me just remind you of one thing. I tried to come full circle on Tom Brady like you.
Okay.
But you need to be reminded, and everybody needs to be reminded of one thing.
Okay.
I'm a lifelong Miami Dolphins fan.
Oh.
How many years was he with the Patriots winning AFC Easts?
20?
Okay. How long does a fellow like me live? Will I get to 70?
Are you eating like Cooper Kupp?
I'm trying to eat, what is it? Farm to
table,
yeah.
Ocean to table.
I mean, am I going to get to 75? I mean, think about it. If I get to 75 and
That's
you
more
say
than a quarter of your life.
And you say, okay, well, Mitch wasn't a real Dolphins fan until about 10 or 11. So now that's 65 years. He took 20 out of 65 away from me. Did he not? Is that math not correct? He took.
Yeah, because didn't they win 19 division titles out of those 20?
Whatever it was, we had no chance for 1/3 of my football rooting existence.
Cleo Lemon didn't stand a chance, I guess.
Cleo Lemon, right? Oh my God!
Damon Heward couldn't get it done.
Didn't have a shot. No,
didn't have it.
No, Jay Fiedler, no go. Jay Fiedler, sorry.
Chad Pennington.
Don't start with me. Don't start with me.
We could just go down the list.
I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, not at all.
Because I actually have been listening. I have actually been curious and eager to hear my old friend Slickhawk's thoughts about Brian Flores and because I know. I'll set it up this way. I know that you're conflicted to an extent.
Sure.
Because you love. Nobody loves I love the NFL, but I don't know that I have a friend who loves the NFL as much as Matt Slickhawk Mikolas loves the NFL. So you love the NFL, but there's something really systemically wrong with the NFL. So how do you balance those two things?
The same. Myself as a black man, and so if you're a black man or if you're a woman, and just everything that's we see examples time after time after time again where it should make it really hard for you probably to want to watch and root for and emotionally invest in this league that so often provides such a large disservice to Black people and to women. And this is another example. It's not anything we didn't know was going on. And so, but we get this text message. And so it's like anything, when you actually get the evidence, when you get it shoved in front of your face and you can see it, then it becomes a bigger issue. And sometimes, results come out of that. And so that's happened in this case. I think with Brian Flores, I mean, the whole thing, well, let's start with the Rooney Rule. The Rooney Rule, which, the Rooney Rule is put in place because there is a problem, and it was the best solution that people could come up with. Obviously, the rule is a bad rule in that it's easy to get around. The implementation of it is so disingenuous. And I remember when the Seahawks brought in Pete Carroll and they were scrambling to bring in Leslie Frazier for an interview when Pete Carroll was the guy that they had selected all the time. So it's not like that portion of it, it's not like that's news or that hasn't affected us. It happened right here in Seattle.
Yeah.
I mean, Jim Mora was fired. Within 3 or 4 hours, there were rumors that Pete Carroll was the guy. Then Leslie Frazier was being set up for interviews, which I think he ultimately declined.
Stupid.
Yeah.
The whole thing was stupid. In fact, I remember that Jim Mora was doing his season-ending press conference. He was literally talking about what to expect next year and during this offseason, while Lewicki was in Southern California hiring Pete Carroll.
Right.
I mean, it was all going on at the same, and then you had to squeeze in Leslie Frazier because they had to make good on the Rooney Rule, which
is a shame.
Yeah.
And it's a shame,
Yeah,
and that's
stupid.
but something had to be done, and not all fixes are the right fix. And if you ask me today, what is the right fix? I don't know. I think that the worst part of it though is paying or offering to pay or trying to convince Brian Flores, as a black head coach in a league that has so few black head coaches, to lose games, because you're going to get one shot at this. I mean, the retread head coach record for black head coaches is so minuscule. And you're telling this head coach in his first job, in his first year, you got to go out there and you got to lose and have that hanging on you on your resume.
Hugh Jackson also.
Yes.
Hugh Jackson also said the same thing was happening to him. Yeah.
And so
hold on.
It's career suicide if you go along with that.
It's not only career suicide, but if you want to remove yourself from the race issue, let's also talk about the competitive spirit of the NFL.
Yes.
Literally offering head coaches money to lose when you're involved now with the billion-dollar gambling industry.
Yeah.
Do you think that Stephen Ross, if physical evidence is shown that he offered and his general manager offered Brian Flores $100,000 for every loss, do you think if that comes out that he should be forced, other NFL owners, NBA owners have been forced to sell teams before. Should Stephen Ross be forced to sell the Miami Dolphins?
It sounds like there's eyewitness corroboration of,
Correct.
I heard him make the offer. So I think because you're so in bed with the gambling, I think you have to absolutely consider that for the NFL.
Yeah.
I think it would because what's their number one? What's the NFL's number one goal is self-preservation of the league, and so. But that's why they do things like the Rooney Rule, or that's why they have these different things in place. That's why for women, they have these quote unquote campaigns around domestic violence and things like that to heighten awareness of domestic violence, because it's all about the perception that they care and are trying to change. But there's no teeth to what they're actually bringing to the table to try and fix these issues. So that's why, as a black person, that's why for several women, and good on them and anybody else who's able to boycott this product. For me, I'm not able to do it though. I would love to be able to be principled and just turn my back to the NFL and say, I can't do it. I'm not going to do it with you anymore. You have, people who look like me. You've done a disservice to us for far too long in far too many areas. But I love professional football, and I love the NFL,
and they know that, and they're taking
yes.
advantage because they know that
the fan is an inelastic resource.
You won't walk away. They know you won't walk away.
Exactly.
That's exactly
which makes it even worse.
Yeah.
And it's something to wrestle with. I have to wrestle with.
And let me tell you one thing. I'm going to tell you why they'll never make Stephen Ross sell the Miami Dolphins, even if physical evidence is shown that he asked his coach to lose games. I'm going to tell you why they won't ever make him sell the team. 2 words. Daniel Snyder. As long as Daniel Snyder is the owner of the Washington Commies, the Washington Commodores, Commanders, or whatever it is, Commodores. Are they the Lionel Richies, the Commodores? I don't know. Are they the Commanders? As long as Daniel Snyder, you know this to be true, as long as Daniel Snyder owns that team, there's no way they're going to make Stephen Ross sell that team.
Sure.
No
because,
way.
I mean,
they're right?
You're absolutely right.
No way.
Because he would be the first one that would need to go if something like that. Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
All right.
So I agree with you.
All right. I want to end shooting the shit, even though we haven't started yet. I want to cheer you up, even though you don't seem to be needing cheering up. I want to tell you a little story.
Generally pretty cheery.
I want to tell you a little story. Do you know the story of a fella by the name? I'm hoping you're going to say no, but if you say yes, you say yes.
Okay.
Do you know the story of a fella by the name of Lebbeus Overton?
Lebbeus.
Have you ever heard Lebbeus? I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I think it's Lebbeus Overton. Have you ever heard of that name?
I don't think so.
Good. That was the correct answer.
Okay.
I'm shooting the shit. Let me tell you who Lebbeus Overton is. He is the #1 high school football player in the class of 2023, not this year's class, next year's class. He comes from Milton, Georgia.
Is he a defensive tackle?
I believe he's a defensive lineman, more of an edge guy, but I'm not sure. He's 6'3", 265. That sounds like he's more of an outside guy than an inside guy.
Okay.
He is of all positions, he is the single-handedly #1 recruit in the 2023 high school class.
Okay.
He has decided today that he is reclassifying.
I do know who this is. I do know who this is.
To the 2022 class, which means he's got to make a decision. He also happens to be, by the way, a 4.0 GPA in AP classes. He does not have a B on his transcript, and he has decided that he's going to play college football next year at either Georgia, Ohio State,
or
Oklahoma,
or
the Duckies.
Yeah. So you said Overton, and I was like, well, he's not talking about that kid. So it's interesting. So I do know who you're talking about then.
All right, there you go.
Because I don't get into the weeds with the recruiting, but I have a 30,000 foot view on, the recruiting. I remember when you used to go down to the Founders Club.
And sit next to the fax machine.
Next to the fax machine, just wait for him. A fax poured in.
Some people, every once in a while, and I'll leave you with this. Okay. Every once in a while, I'll get the question, Mitch, I know you hate how it ended at KJR, and you didn't want your career to end that way, and whatever. Do you have any? Are there 2 or 3 things that you don't miss? And boy, if I think about it for 10 seconds, that annual trip to the Founders Club, God love that. Oh my God, that show. Oh,
which high school kids and how many stars and most of these guys are like junior. They haven't been to their junior prom yet. And we're fawning and fighting over him. And why didn't he pick my school? That said, I did look at the hall that the University of Washington was able to bring in. The hall. And it is ranked quite poorly.
Yeah. Well, come on, give them a break. They got a new coaching staff.
I know.
So
does Oregon.
Yeah, but yeah.
And
yeah, give him a break.
Overton?
Give him a break.
Overton might follow Dan Lanning. He might follow Dan Lanning to Oregon. We'll see. But then what does it matter? I don't know.
But he did say, I saw an interview with him, and he did say he needs to get clearance from Slickhawk first. He wants to know if Slickhawk's okay with him going across from Georgia to Eugene, Oregon to play his college football.
After careful consideration, I've decided I'll sign off on such a transaction. Come to Eugene, young man.
The #1 recruit. Well, at least of 2023. All right, that's it. What else? You got anything else that you wanna get in here?
I made a mistake this week. I made a mistake
Oh.
with Amy,
Oh.
and I think it's gonna now affect my life, maybe in a permanent way.
Oh no.
Yeah. So she was telling me a story about how the neighbor across the street, I guess he has in his backyard now chickens. He has chickens in a coop.
Yeah.
Chickens in a coop.
Chickens in a coop.
Yeah, and so she was talking to him, and I guess the chickens came up, and she was telling me about this when she talked to him. She said, and I told Dick's the neighbor. She said, I told Dick,
Yeah.
well, boy, Matt, I'd love to have chickens, but Matt would never let me have chickens. To which I said, when she's telling the story, I said, hold on. Hold on.
Chickens in a barnyard. Yeah.
When have I flying chickens in a barnyard? Magic carpet ride. When have I ever said you can't have chickens? And she's like, well, I don't know if you ever, I guess I just assumed you would never let me have. I said, if chickens are going to bring you happiness, like we've got room, there's no reason.
No.
I was like,
no, you don't have chicken. She's not going out and no.
And I was like,
you have a pet chicken.
Why would I be the thing standing between you and having chickens? She's like, I don't know. I was like,
no.
If chickens are going to bring you happiness, you can go ahead and have chickens.
Don't tell me already.
Thinking that, no, not already, but thinking that this might be I guess I can do it. And then one of those things that, it's a nice idea. Sure. And then, but now you can do it. Now it's just going to kind of go to the wayside.
Looks good on paper. Too much work. Looks good on paper.
But it's too much work, too expensive. She is all in on these damn chickens.
How many?
She's got, she is thinking like 3, 4 to start with. She's never even seen the chickens, but she's already naming the chickens. She has chicken care books.
Oh boy.
She's got plans for the shed to turn it into a coop. So I think this is about to be, the Slickhawk farm down here.
What do you do with chickens?
I don't know.
What's the end game with chickens?
Have a lot of eggs.
So she wants to breed them, and they're gonna have.
I think she just wants to have like pet chickens, but she wants to use the eggs and stuff. I don't know if she wants to breed them necessarily, but have some.
I liked her for a while.
Freaking chickens. I don't know.
I liked her for a while.
We'll see, I guess.
Well, let me tell you something.
I'll let you know how it goes.
I think to wrap things up, I think Cooper Kupp would be okay as long as it.
I would have something to feed Cooper Kupp.
From Slickhawk farm to his table, he's okay.
Shed to table. Okay.
Oh dear. All right, you take us out before we start the show. Take us out.
Yeah, I've got some Wordle to do. So shooting the shit with Slick and Mitch is in the books.